So hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network here today. We welcome you back here at BSN Network. It is Friday, May 15th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. We got a lot of sports to get to today. We got Tua and the Dolphins and his big contract he got for rookie. For a rookie, it's a big contract. We got DeAndre Baker, Quentin Dunbar, and the Giants. They got caught having an armed robbery. Normal football players. It happens often. It's not surprising at all. And then we have Bryce Harper, Blake Snell, the MLB plan. They came out yesterday and said something with how they don't agree with the money aspect. You know, it's almost like every sports player doesn't agree with the money aspect of things. Most of them just care about the money. They really don't care about the team. They don't care about if they're winning or losing. They just care about the money, and I think that's what's going to slow it down, is trying to get the MLB back. That's really what's going to slow it down, is just because of the money. Everybody just thinks the plan's bad because the money. They didn't look at everything else. They just want to hear about the money. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. It's the final day of the week. It's Friday, and then we go into the weekend, and I'll be back here on Monday, obviously, with the pods, but let's get into it. So Tua, couple days ago, I think it was Tuesday, or it was one of the days. It was like 2-3 days ago. He signed a contract. He signed his rookie contract with the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Tua is the first round draft pick for the Miami Dolphins. He signed his rookie contract, and it's pretty big. It's a big contract for a rookie. I crunched some numbers and things, and I was looking at the averages of contracts for a rookie. He's way above average. He's about 30 or 20 million over. He's got a very big contract for first rounders. He's above average, and obviously for every other player, that's probably a rookie. He's very above average. Although Joe Burrow is a little bit higher than him. He's about $6 million more than Tua, but it's a huge contract. So I was crunching the numbers, and I found out that Tua's salary, first round picks range from $10.8 million. So their average for a first round pick salary is about $10.8 million. Tua's is $30.275 million. His contract is very, very, very big for a rookie. For a new guy into the league, this is a very big contract. He's almost topping some guys in the league that he's topping some guys in the league that have been in the league and have been playing for a couple of years now. And he's already got a bigger contract, and this is coming up as his first season. If they even play the NFL season, we don't obviously know. I think they will, but if they play the NFL season, then he's got one of the biggest contracts for a rookie coming into the 2020-2021 season. And Tua's a good quarterback. I really agree. If he stays healthy and if this hip isn't a lingering problem for him the rest of his career, I believe he's going to be worth it. I believe the money for them giving him the money is definitely going to be worth it. I think they gave him a good amount of money. It might seem a little high, but I really think that this is one of the better quarterbacks out on the board. I think it went Joe Burrow, Tua, then Herbert. And then, obviously you probably go next man up would be probably Jordan Love, or the top quarterbacks in the draft this season. But I really believe Tua is going to be a solid player for the Dolphins. Now, I said that last year with Dwayne Haskins, and that wasn't the case. I'll admit it. I thought Dwayne Haskins was going to be an unbelievable player. I thought Dwayne Haskins was going to be. I didn't predict it, but I wouldn't have been surprised to see Dwayne Haskins win Rookie of the Year, and obviously Dwayne Haskins had a horrible season for what people expected, or at least what I expected. I thought Dwayne Haskins would have a better season, so I'm going to not try to pick if Tua's going to have a good season, because obviously when I did with Dwayne Haskins, it didn't help, but I do think Tua will have a good season, or a good career. I think if that hip injury that he has doesn't linger with him for the rest of his career, and he can stay healthy, and he just goes out there and plays, and and he doesn't pull a DeAndre Baker and a Quinn Dunbar and doesn't get in trouble, I really believe he's going to have a quality career. The Dolphins are in a very good position. This is a team that went from 5-11 to, I really believe, 2 years from now could be a playoff contender. They just need a couple more pieces, and they could really be a playoff contender. They have a very good coach in Brian Flores. They have a good receiving core. They have a decent D. The D could use some help. They probably could use some running back help. But other than that, they really have their quarterback down. Their receiving core is pretty good. Their offensive line is pretty good for the most part. They really built on that offensive line in the draft. They picked, I think, 2 or 3 offensive linemen that will probably start week 1 in the draft to obviously protect Tua. And that's the last thing you need is a guy that has been injured in the past, a guy that is getting one of the highest contracts for a rookie to get injured because you don't have a good offensive line. It's a team defensively, they're okay. Their defensive line probably could use some improving. Christian Wilkins, I think it is last year from Clemson. He didn't have a great season. They obviously got Shaq Lawson from the Bills. Shaq Lawson came on. He was a little rusty in the beginning with the Bills, but to finish it out with the Bills his last 2 years, he had pretty quality seasons. Not Pro Bowl seasons, not unreal seasons, but I would say average to a little bit above average season with the Bills. I think Shaq Lawson would be nice coming off the edge there. Their secondary, obviously, they got Byron Jones. They made him the highest paid, whatever. I think he's a corner. They made him the highest paid or whatever safety in the league. I really believe that he's going to be a good player there. He had a very good career with the Cowboys in his time there. He was there for a while. So I really believe that if they can really get, and that's the good thing is, if they can really, really, really get a couple players here and there, a couple holes here and there, they could really be a very good team, in my opinion. But what I was saying is, and I heard somebody say this a couple weeks ago, is what's so great about Brian Flores, and this is how coaches should attack it, like this. Brian Flores is he's getting all the pieces on the side of the ball that he doesn't know very well. He's a defensive-minded coach. He was the linebackers and the defensive coordinator for the Patriots when they were making the Super Bowls and stuff. He was under Bill Belichick. He's a defensive-minded coach, right? He's defense. He can't run an offense, right? So, what I'm trying to say here is it's good that he's attacking and getting all these pieces. He's getting all these pieces in the side of the ball. He's getting the offensive lineman. He's getting the quarterback. The receiving core is pretty good. He's getting the side of the ball that he doesn't know very well because he knows that he's not going to really be able to help out on that side of the ball, and he wants to, obviously, the offensive coordinator, I'm not too sure who he is on the Dolphins, but he wants the offensive coordinator to make his job easier. He's attacking the side of the ball that he doesn't know. Because if you have a defensive-minded coach and you don't have a great defense, it could be a little bit better because you have a defensive-minded coach and he knows how to run a D. When he was with the Patriots, they had one of the top 10 Ds in the league, right? And he was helping out with the defense there. So you kind of can tell this defense, I think, yes, he got a couple acquisitions in the offseason. He got Shaq Lawson. He got, Byron Jones. But for the most part, he really attacked on the offensive side of the ball, and that goes to show you that that's a smart coaching decision right there, right? That's a smart decision. For example, the Jets didn't do that. The Jets went out and got these big defenders, and they didn't really do that when Todd Bowles was their coach. They kind of did it with Sam Darnold, but for the most part, they got obviously Adam Gaze's first season, he's an offensive-minded coach, but it's when Todd Bowles is there, they got a couple of players that were on the defensive end. There's a couple of teams that have done it kind of backwards, in a way I feel like the Jets did, but the Dolphins are attacking, I believe, in the right way. They're getting like I said, I might seem like I'm hyping up the Dolphins a lot, but they have a great coach, or a very good coach. They have a very smart coach. They have a coach that knows the game a lot. And Brian Flores, he's a very smart guy. I think that he's leading this team in the right direction. I think he's going to have good locker room management. That's the worst when your head coach doesn't have good locker room management. When your head coach doesn't have control in the locker room, it could get bad. It could get bad. And I know I blow up the Jets a lot, but the Jets, Todd Bowles did not have good locker room management. He didn't. And, it's just a problem when you don't have good locker room management. I think Brian Flores is going to have good locker room management, good kind of being that head guy, obviously being a good head coach, and I believe this team could be a playoff team in the next 2-3 years. I don't think this year they'll be a playoff team. I do think they could come in second place this year. I think it's either going to be them or the Jets that come in second place. I think the Patriots will be in last. I don't know what it is. I just don't see the Patriots doing anything with Jarrett Stidham. They do still have Belichick, but they have Jarrett Stidham, right? And what is Jarrett Stidham going to do? But back to the point with Tua. So this is that the rookie pool is divided among 32 teams based on the clubs' number of picks and where they will fall within the draft. This year, the contracts for the first round range from $10.8 million. So it's around $10.8 million is the average. Number 32 pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire got $10.8 million, which is about the average. And then Joe Burrow is expected to get around $36 million. So a little bit more than Tua, not much, but it goes to show you Joe Burrow being the first pick. It goes to show you probably the top 10 picks are really high paid or pretty high paid, and then you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU, the running back who went to the Chiefs, who I think that's a good pick for them. Who went to the Chiefs? You could tell he's getting a lot less. He's getting about $20 million less, $20 million less than Tua, Joe Burrow, and guys like that. Back to my whole point with the Dolphins and Tua. Like I said with the offensive line, if the offensive line can hold up and Tua has time in the pocket, he's a very good deep ball thrower. He's accurate with the deep ball. He's a very accurate quarterback in general. He can run. He's okay with throwing the run. It's not great. You give him time in the pocket, though, he can make plays. What the one thing that concerns me really is his injury. His hip injury. He showed all the teams. He said all 32 teams. He sent them a video saying I'm healthy, I'm good to go. I'm ready. I can play week 1, whatever you need me to do. I'm ready. I don't need any more rehab time. Right. A lot of players do that. A lot of players say that. It goes back to my point. Players don't like to say players like to play through injuries because they love the game and they just don't want to tell their coach and be out for the whole season, right? Or be out for so long. If Tua said, I'm not feeling 100%, and this is all I got, he probably would have fell from the number 5 pick all the way down to maybe the number 15 or 20 pick, right? And that's why I think we don't really know if he's 100% healthy. In the video it showed that he's 100%. He looked like he's healthy. It looked like he's ready to play, but also in a way, is he, did he have to fight through that? Did he have to, was he in pain, but he was just doing it just to do it? Or was he actually feeling good, feeling ready, really thinks that he can start week 1? Like I said, I think Tua is going to be a very good quarterback. I think he'll have a good year. I think he'll be a good quarterback. I think out of all the quarterbacks that got drafted, or out of all the players that got drafted, you can make the argument Tua got drafted in one of the better positions. It's a Dolphins team. I know I've said it about 3 times today on the podcast, but it's a Dolphins team that I really believe is headed into the right direction, and they're heading fast, right? I say that about a couple teams. I don't like to say good things about the Giants, but where they're at right now, I believe the Giants are headed in the right direction pretty quick. I think Joe Judge is a pretty good coach. I think Jason Garrett's probably one of their best moves this whole offseason. Players, coaches, whatever. Jason Garrett's probably their best move this offseason. I think Jason Garrett's going to put a little bit of that Cowboys offense spin into the Giants playbook. I think with the Giants, for example, I think who benefits most from this whole with Jason Garrett is I really think Barkley, because Jason Garrett really loved to utilize the run game a lot. He really loved to utilize the run game, and I think with him, with Barkley being as good as he is, he can only get better under Jason Garrett. Same thing with Jones. I really think that he developed pretty much. It was his job. Jason Garrett's job was to develop Dak Prescott. Maybe he could develop Jones. It's going to be interesting though with the Giants, and that's why I think with the Dolphins, they have a good quarterback. Right, they have a good coach with a defensive-minded coach who can develop some of the young guys, and they have their offensive coordinator can develop Tua. Right, I think all around the Dolphins are pretty well-rounded. I think they have a decent D, they have a decent offense. There's a couple teams that are going through rebuilds that don't have, and that's why I think the Dolphins are flying through the rebuild right now. That's why I really think they're going out of all the teams. Out of all the teams rebuilding, I think they'll be out of the rebuild the quickest. Right? They have a decent defense and they have a decent offense. There's a couple teams out there that they don't have very great defenses, or they don't have very great offenses. For example, the Jets, they're going through a rebuild. They have a good D, but their offense is almost bottom in the league. The Giants, they have a pretty good offense, but their defense is almost bottom of the league, right? The Dolphins, I believe, have a good defense. They have a defensive-minded coach who I think are going to lead some of these young guys in the right direction, but they also have a decent offense, obviously getting to where they have a good receiving core, they have a good offensive line, and that's why I think they're headed in the right direction the quickest, right? For, like I said, the Giants, I think, are headed in the right direction just because of their coaching staff. I think they have a pretty good coaching staff, but their defense is bottom of the league, top 20 or anywhere behind 20, 25, 20, 20. Somewhere in the 20s is where the defense ranks. And it shows, like, yeah, they got off-season acquisitions. Yeah, they got a couple of good players in the off-season, but that doesn't make their defense from the bottom of the league go up. Maybe it makes them go up a little bit. I think that Blake Martinez signing was very good, but I don't think it makes them go up that much. I don't think their defense is going to be that much of an improvement from last year and the year before. So now I'm going to read off Tua's stats and show what they're getting. Obviously, what they're getting. They're getting a guy that I think is dedicated to the game. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's my one worry with him. You could say that about any player, but for a player that's coming off of a very bad injury, a dislocated hip injury, and a broken nose to go along with it, because he actually did break his nose on the play, it really, really is going to get interesting to see how Tua does. And like I said, I think Tua, all right. And like I said, I think, last season he got injured and he missed some of the season with that ankle, or with that, obviously he missed some of the season. And, it's definitely going to be interesting to see really what all happens. He got the ankle injury. Tua even had the ankle. He even had the ankle. And he had the hip. So let's run through some of his stats. 2019, I actually compared him to Justin Herbert. Here it is. So I actually compared him to Justin Herbert, and he was better. Based on the 2019 stats, he was a little bit better. So I got the 2019 stats and the 2019 stats here. So completions, he had 180. Attempts, he had 252. Completion percentage was 71.4. Yards was 2,840. Average play was 11.3. Touchdowns 33. Interceptions 3. Like I said, what really blows me away, and I know this is college, I know I'm talking about college, but the 3 interceptions blow me away. If he can do that in the NFL, I think he'll have a little bit more in the NFL just because the talent's better, the corners are better, it's a much faster play. I think the interceptions will be a little bit higher, but if he can keep up 5, 6, 7 interceptions a season in the NFL, you can make you're gonna get a payday. You really will. And interceptions, like I said, I've said before, interceptions are the worst thing. If you want to get picked up by the team, if you're in the free agency and you want to get picked up by a team and be a starter, your interceptions have got to be low. Look what happened to Jameis Winston. The reason he got released was because he had 30 interceptions. If he cuts his interceptions in half and he has 15, he has a 33-15 season? That's pretty good. He led the NFL in yards. You take away those interceptions, you cut him by 20 and he only has 10 interceptions, he's a Pro Bowler. Jameis Winston really is. If you just cut the interceptions, you can eliminate the interceptions, he would be a very good player. And if Tua can do that in the NFL like he did in college, he can be a very good player as well. He really can. The interceptions are horrible to a quarterback. They're very bad to a quarterback. If you want to be a good, successful quarterback in the NFL and be a starter for most of your career, you cannot throw interceptions. Or you can, you could throw 5, 7. You could throw a couple. It's not the end of it's very rare to see. I don't even know if it's ever happened where a quarterback hasn't thrown an interception in a season. It's probably possible, but every quarterback's going to throw a couple interceptions. But when you throw 25, 30 interceptions, that's a problem. And if Tua can throw under 10, that's excellent. If you throw a little bit over 10, it's not horrible. I think once you get to the 18, 19, 20 range, then it starts to get, okay, this is getting a little out of hand. After 25 and above, it's like, all right, this guy's got a problem. So, like I said, I think, throughout, I think with Tua is he just has to stay healthy. Hopefully he really is healthy for the Dolphins fan and everything. He just has to stay healthy. With everything that happened, with the hip and everything, he just has to stay healthy. So that's what I got for Tua and the Dolphins. Now we go up to DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar. So, both DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar got caught yesterday, or May 13th. The report came out yesterday. Like I said, I talk Giants news on here as well. DeAndre Baker, Giants corner, first round pick last year, first round 30 pick, first round 30th pick of the draft last year. And now, as smart as these players are, he decides to go out and be stupid, and it's tough because these players don't really realize. I don't think they realize what they're doing. I think they just, and that's the problem. I think if you're gonna see players getting in trouble because of this virus and the whole quarantine thing, you're gonna see it happen to the NFL. The NFL, just the crime rates and everything that goes on. This happened, by the way, in Miami, Florida. Nonetheless, he was a first-round pick. He's a first-round pick. He was a first-round 30th pick. It wasn't like he was undrafted, he was a backup, or undrafted, he didn't really play, nobody knew who he was. He was a first-round pick. Come on. That's almost like saying, it's not the first overall pick, but that's almost like saying Joe Burrow's going to go out and rob a bank, and he's the first overall pick. I don't think that's going to happen. It shouldn't, but he's a first-round pick. And the guy is still going out, and he had a firearm. So what happened was DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar of the Seahawks, used to be a Redskins player, came to the Seahawks. DeAndre Baker of the Giants, they won't be on teams in a couple of days. They'll probably get released. You won't see them probably on the team. They should get kicked out of the NFL. They probably won't, but they should. That's how the NFL rolls. That is one thing I don't like about the NFL, is half these players should be getting kicked out of the NFL, and they're not. They don't get kicked out. Some of these guys, these things that they've done are not good, and the NFL still says, oh, we're going to keep you in the league, you're going to get suspended for 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar get suspended for 4 games and they'll be able to come back. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, you're going to get suspended for 4 games, and then you'll be able to come back then. And that would not surprise me one bit. And that's the thing. The NFL, it happens a lot. Out of all the sports, the arrests and everything happen the most in the NFL. It's just how it is. Really just how it is. It's the type of league. You some of the players that come in here are, they've got some problems with them. So what happened was DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar, both 2 cornerbacks. One was a first-round pick, and the other one, Quinton Dunbar, was undrafted. But still, he played 4 seasons with the Redskins, and Quinton Dunbar I've heard of. He was pretty good with the Redskins. He didn't. He wasn't a Pro Bowler. He wasn't an All-Pro. He wasn't an MVP. He was an average guy. He wasn't no big name. I've heard of him before. Obviously, the Jets played up against them last season and stuff. I've heard of him before. But then he got traded to the Seahawks, and this was going to be his first season with the Seahawks. This will probably be his first season out of the league, hopefully. But anyway, they got caught. They both got caught robbing or a firearm or whatever. They both got caught with firearms, and firearm robbery, an armed robbery is what they call it. So I have here what they got. So DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar's steals. So they stole $18,000 Rolex watch. They stole a $25,000 hub lot. I don't know what that is. I did some research. Supposedly it's another watch. And then they stole over $7,000 in cash. I mean, it's just horrible. Like, to think that the players would even do this. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. Like, they don't really think of football as we do. Like we're like, oh my gosh, why would they do that? Football is just kind of football is just, for them, some of these players, and it stinks that I have to say this, but for some of these players, football is really to keep these guys out of jail. Some of these players would be in jail if it was never for football. It's true, and it's tough to think that. It's not good to think about that, but if football is kind of, some of these players, if it was never for football, some of these players would be in jail right now. Football is kind of a side thing for them. Football is kind of it's just I play football, but I was talking to somebody earlier too, right before I came on air. Like they probably have robbed more. They've probably stolen more. It's just not as big. But they don't understand, like, all the work and stuff that they put in, and now they're ruining it. Now they're out. Now DeAndre Baker, this is his second season. He didn't have a great year last year. This is his second season. Quinton Dunbar is starting to get into maybe his little bit of later years. He already played 4 seasons. Now he's kind of considered maybe like a veteran. Or I shouldn't say veteran, kind of an experienced player. Went to the Seahawks, who he could possibly Seahawks are... Every year I feel like the Seahawks could win the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks have the team, I believe. They could win it this year. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them win a Super Bowl. He's going to a playoff team in the Seahawks. He's going to play with a playoff team in the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a very good team, and he's now gone. The Seahawks are going to release him more than likely, so will they release DeAndre Baker. But now this goes to the whole point. Like, now the Giants need another corner to fill in DeAndre Baker's shoes. I'm going to read DeAndre Baker's stats. He didn't have a great season last year. He's kind of still developing. He didn't have a great year. He wasn't anything special. I don't think he blew Giants fans away. I don't think he did much like that. But he didn't have a great season. He didn't have a horrible season either. So it still says he's with the Giants, but that will probably change. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay there and only be suspended for 4 games. That's usually how the NFL decides to work sometimes. But yeah, so DeAndre Baker, they got caught, with the firearms and everything. One witness said they didn't see him with the firearms. The other witness says they did. So I would just go with I would just go with they did, because I wouldn't be surprised. That probably seems like the most obvious one. I'm going to find his stats here. I'm going to show you what they are losing, more than likely. DeAndre Baker, 22 years old, very young, and he's already messed up his career. So last season, like I said, he didn't have a great season. He really didn't. It wasn't an excellent season. He was kind of quiet. For a first-round pick, it wasn't unreal. He played 16 games, though. He played all the games. He played in every single game, so, he didn't get injured or anything. He played in every single game. He had 48 solo tackles, and he was tied for 112th in the NFL. No forced fumbles, no interceptions. Like I said, he didn't have a great season. 16 games played, 61 total tackles, 48 solo tackles, 13 assists. Like I said, he didn't have a great season at all. It was probably, he did have 8 passes defended, which isn't bad. Passes defended, he had 8. Isn't horrible. That's decent. He tied 67th in the NFL. You could probably do the numbers and see how top 1% or whatever that is. But like I said, so now this goes into talk. So I heard this news, and you know how the sports world works. Now everybody's like, oh, hold on a second. Now the Giants need another corner. Who's a corner out there that the Giants could get? There's a guy named Logan Ryan. I talked about him a couple days ago with the Jets. I think that Logan Ryan is a very good, I believe, like I said, I think he's I think Logan Ryan's almost a top 10 corner in the league. He's a very, very good player. He's very underrated. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He hasn't made it to a Pro Bowl, but that's because I think he's very underrated. I don't think he's not talked about that much. He's, it's unlike Stephon Gilmore, who I think is the best corner in the league. He's on the Patriots. They're a big franchise. Everybody talks about the Patriots. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, blah, 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 blah. Everybody talks about the Patriots, so everybody's going to hear about Stephon Gilmore. Especially this Titans D. Nobody really talks about a Titans D as being a top D in the league. Last year, people talked about the Patriots D being a top D in the league until they faced up against a real team in the Baltimore Ravens and lost. And after that game, they went 4-4 and finished 12-4. And like I said, I think what is going to happen is I think the Giants are going to go out, find a new corner, because I wouldn't see they're going to release DeAndre Baker. And I would imagine the Giants could go out and look at Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan did say that the Jets would be a perfect fit, but he said he's still open for business. So he said he would love to go to the Jets, but it's still open for business. So it doesn't, just because there's rumor around the Jets, he's still open for business. He still says, hey, I'll go to any team, right? I think at this point, for some free agents that are still around at this point, they sometimes don't even care. They just want to get on a team. And that's the thing. And I think they have a possibility of getting Logan Ryan. I think Logan Ryan will probably end up going to the Jets, is my prediction. I think the Jets will probably end up snagging Logan Ryan. I think what he said yesterday on Good Morning Football was very promising. He said, or something between the lines of, I would love, the Jets. The Jets are good. I would love to go to the Jets, but I'm still open for business. He said something like that. I can actually pull up the exact quote. I think the Jets are going to get him. I think secretly the Jets are close to getting him an offer, but I think Logan Ryan's still saying he's open for business because maybe they're not quite set on an offer yet. Maybe the Jets aren't offering him what the money he wants. But if I'm going to pull up the quote here, or see if I can find the quote. So he says, the Jets, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because I'm from the area, but he's open for business. So, not something love to play for the Jets, but he said that it makes sense because I'm from the area. He's from Berlin, New Jersey. He played at Rutgers, which is local to the Jets. Obviously, Jets being in New Jersey, they're called New York, but they play in New Jersey. He's local. This is what he said. He said, obviously, there's a lot of rumors out there. I can't confirm. Whoops. So obviously, he said something like, it makes sense because I'm from the area, and I went to Rutgers and everything, but I'm still open for business. So I think that's promising what he said there. Obviously, I didn't word it exactly right. I said that, he said that would love to play for the Jets. That's not the case. But like I said, I think the Jets are close, but I think what he says he's still open for business is a little concerning because I think that means that the Jets and him aren't there yet. I think which means he probably wants a little bit more money, and the Jets aren't going to give it to him. I think the Jets should give it to him. I believe he would be our number one corner. I believe he would be excellent to the secondary for the Jets. And so now the Giants are in the rumors. Obviously, the Giants would be local to him too because they play the same stadium. They're New York Giants. They're same thing. They're based in the East Coast metropolitan area. So obviously, the Giants would be probably a good suit if he wants to stay local. He would like to play, but the Giants, I don't think have talked to him. I haven't heard any rumors. But now there's rumors about possibly Logan Ryan going to the Big Blue in the New York Giants. So that's what I got for DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar. Like I said, I think I just don't think it's tough. It really is because I think with everything going on, and you got these players screwing around and doing things like that. So now we got Bryce Harper and Blake Snell. So I talked about this yesterday. And I talked about this yesterday. I said how Trevor Bauer wasn't happy. Adam Jones wasn't happy. All because of the new plan. because of the money aspect. The money. All these players, and it's weird. It's crazy to think about that all these players are worried about is the money. They at this point, none of these players even care about at this point, some of these players don't even care about the game and if their team's winning, if they're losing, if they're winning a World Series, if they're being successful. All they're getting paid. Bryce Harper's doing just fine. He's getting paid $330 million, but now he's complaining because now Blake Snell came out. Oh, the money isn't correct. Can you just take your mind off of the money for 5 seconds and look at the other stuff? Do you agree with the other stuff? Because we know what's going to happen. Oh, the money thing's going to get situated, and now everything will be okay. Can you look at the other stuff? And I said this yesterday. It really stinks. This is why you can't have super teams anymore. This is why you can't have the early Yankees with Babe Ruth and all them. This is why you can't have the 90s Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman anymore. You can't have those. It's hard enough, like I said yesterday with the Lakers. It's hard enough because LeBron's contract alone is probably like $80 million. Then you have Anthony Davis's alone is probably around there. I don't know the exact number, but you can't have these super teams anymore because they all want the money. They would all have to take major pay cuts. And it's almost like the Nets. The Nets have a hard enough time getting Kyrie and KD because their money's so much. If the Nets try to bring over another player, they'll be way over cap. If you had the Bulls, Pippen, or if you had Bulls team right now, you had Pippen, MJ, and Rodman. If you had all those three players right now playing on a team, the Bulls would be, their cap space would be way high. It would be unbelievable. That's why you can't. That's why the Warriors. That's why KD had to leave because they couldn't give him the money. KD wanted to leave. He wanted to start his own team. Curry, he wants the money now. He's gonna want the money soon. He's gonna want all that money. Klay Thompson, he's gonna want all that money. If you were to put, you can't have, it's impossible. It would be impossible now. This is why, like I've said 5 times already, you don't see these super teams anymore. You don't see these Bulls, the 90 Bulls teams anymore. You don't see the Yankees in their early years with Babe Ruth and all of them anymore. Because if they were all playing right now, you wouldn't be able to have that because all these players want is the money. And I made up a point yesterday after I went off the air. When Manny Machado, if he really wanted to win, and the reason why he's actually playing baseball, if he really wanted to win, he really wanted to be on a winning team, win a World Series, possibly be very successful, get a couple of rings, he would have went to the Yankees. He wouldn't have went to the Padres. The Padres? Are you kidding me? The Padres are one of the worst teams in the MLB. If he was really dedicated on winning, going to a winning franchise and wasn't worried about all the money he's getting, he would have went to the Yankees. I don't know exactly what the Yankees gave him, but the Yankees probably gave him around $200 million. He was like, no, I'd rather go to a very bad team in the Padres. I mean, the Padres, they have a lot of young talent and everything, but they're not that good. They're not a playoff team. The Padres, they finished last in their division. They're not a big franchise. Nobody really talks about the Padres. And Manny Machado says, "Oh, I'll take my $300 million and go to the Padres." All right, a team that's not going to win a World Series in the next couple of years. A team that won't even be a playoff team for possibly the next 2-3 years. A team that will probably and it's not even like Manny Machado's been unreal. It's like Manny Machado's been okay. He's. You notice how Manny Machado feels like was better when he wasn't getting the money? Because I said this yesterday. When players get the money, they start to lollygag. They start to not care because they got their paycheck. They worked at their paycheck. All they care. When you're a rookie, you play so hard. You get so hard. You play so hard. You play so hard. You grind. You do all that. Now you get your $300 million, and now you're going to lollygag. You're going to go to a horrible team. You're going to, I make an error. Who cares? I'm still going to get my $300 million. Or I'm still going to get all my money, whatever. I think he's getting paid $30 million a year. Obviously, he's not $300 million a year, but he's getting paid like $30 million a year. But now Bryce Harper, Blake Snell, players coming out and saying, "Oh, the money isn't right." Bryce Harper, I think you're doing just fine, man. You got $330 million. I think you're doing just fine. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be your cap. Maybe you're making $30 million a season. Now you're gonna be making $15 million. I'm sorry, $15 million. That's. I would take $15 million right now if I were. I would take $15 million right now. I wouldn't mind a nice $15 million paycheck. I wouldn't mind. I'll take $1 million right now. I would take $500,000 right now. I really would. I would take $500,000 right now. I would take $50. I would take any money right now. Right? These players are complaining, oh, I'm not getting my $30 million. No, this is crazy. I can't play now. I don't agree with this because I'm not getting my $30 million. I'm not getting my $40 million. I'm not getting my exact money. I deserve my $35, $40 million. Are you kidding me? Why am I getting $20 million? You're getting $20 million. You're complaining about getting all this money. Okay, maybe it drops a little bit. But like I said, I like Bryce Harper a lot, but this turns me. I like Bryce Harper. I still do like him even after what he said. Blake Snell comes out and says over the pay, or not overpay, over the pay situation. Got to find this. So Bryce Harper comes out and said, no, Arenado, Blake Snell, overpay stance. He made a lot of good points. That's what they said. So Bryce Harper and Nolan Arenado through their support toward Blake Snell, who said Wednesday he wasn't going to risk playing baseball for less money amid the coronavirus pandemic. Snell, the Tampa Bay Rays 2018 American League Cy Young winner, said during a Twitch live stream, y'all gotta understand, man, for me to take a pay cut is not happening because the risk is through the roof. If it's a shorter season, less pay. Now, like I said, I don't know exactly what his thing is. I gotta get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine, okay? That really burns me there, and I get it where he's going. He wants the money. There's some people out there that aren't even getting $1 million a year, and you're complaining because you are complaining because you're not going to get your big $20 million paycheck at the end of the season. You're only going to get your $10 million paycheck. It's $10 million. There's some people out there who probably are barely making $1 million, right? It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. These players these days it's just crazy. The money is just out of hand sometimes. And like I said this. I put pro athletes aren't overpaid because a couple reasons. Like I said, there's a 2% chance you make it to MLB. You make it to the MLB, you deserve your money. But when players come out and complain like this because they're not making all their big dollars, you gotta put in perspective. There's some people out there who have no money at all, and you're complaining about I'm not getting my $25 million. I gotta get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine, okay? Have you even read anything else? Do you even care about the other MLB plan? Do you even care about it? All these players probably like MLB, when they got into that call on Tuesday, they were probably all like, okay, what's the pay? What's my pay? He's probably just heard a bunch of what's my pay for 10 minutes. Right? And now they all heard it and they're like, nah, this is unacceptable. I can't do this. What about the rookies that salaries are going to get cut in half? I kind of feel bad for them. Rookies they're not getting paid all this money and they're going to get cut in half. Blake Snell, you're not a rookie, man. And that's just the way it is for me. I'm sorry you guys think differently, but the risk is the way higher, and the amount of money I'm making is way lower. Why would I think about doing that? You know me, I'm sorry, whatever. Snell later told the Tampa Bay Times he knew the comments would make him look greedy, but clarified that he was focused on his own safety. Harper, who signed a 13-year, $300 million contract with the Phillies in 2019, supported Snell's stance during a video on his Twitch channel. According to, he ain't lying, he's speaking the truth, bro, Harper said. I ain't mad at him, somebody's gotta say, at least he's named up and set up. Good for him, I love Snell, the guy's a beast, one of the best lefties in the game. Snell is a very good pitcher. His contract's not big, but if Harper's complaining, Harper wasn't complaining, he's just agreeing. Harper, man, $330 million contract. I'll trade places with you. I wouldn't mind getting whatever. He's probably making $33 million a year or whatever. I wouldn't mind making $33 million a year. Yeah, sure, maybe Blake Snell has maybe he has a little bit lower of a contract. Maybe I can understand, like I said, rookies, guys that are in their second year that aren't making much money, right? Maybe this is a little concerning to them. If they're only going to play a half a season, it's going to get paid. Their pay cut's going to be in half. I understand. But when you hear from guys that are Trevor Bauer, he's probably got a pretty hardy contract himself. He's been in the league for a couple of seasons, right? Arenado signed an 8-year, $260 million contract with Colorado. Also agreed with Snell. I think he was being honest, just being real. Told The Athletic. He made a lot of good points. There are some points he made that were true, that are facts. A lot of good points. Trying to get the public to understand us. It's not going to work very well in our favor. Arenado through understands comments and could have negative perception. I guarantee if you read the comments, you're probably thinking you don't have to work 12 hours a day. You're not the one without the job. You're still getting paid. Like I said, they're kind of like I said. I disagree with this, and it kind of I'm almost like the people that he just said, but I just think they're getting a little greedy. At the end of the day, that's all I want to say. I just think they're getting a little, not, like I said, he might sound greedy, but for these big name players to come out, these players that, like, Manny Machado and them haven't came out yet, but for these players, like, I get it. Blake Snell, okay, I kind of get his point now, right? He's probably not getting paid that much. He's young. He's not getting paid that much. Okay, like I said, I can understand right before I even read all these comments. I understand what these players are saying, right? I get their point. But for like a guy, if Bryce Harper were to come out and say, "Oh, I can't take this pay cut," really? Come on. I mean, I'm trying to be real here, right? Like I said, the money sometimes with these players is through the roof. Blake Snell maybe not getting a big contract. Maybe he's getting a lower contract. Maybe he is really worried. But the fact that with everything that he's saying, the fact that he is, the fact that some of these guys, $260 million, I'll take $260 million. They're agreeing with him. They're saying, oh, people might be overreacting everything. People might be thinking, oh, he's being greedy. But when a player that getting $300 million a season is saying Blake Snell isn't, but Bryce Harper's agreeing. I like Bryce Harper a lot. I really do. And that's not going to change I'm still going to like him after this, obviously. I really like Bryce Harper. But it's just interesting because he agrees. Yeah, but I get Blake Snell's point. Maybe he's not making that much money. Maybe he's not making as much as he hoped. Maybe he's going to cut from the millions into the 100,000s. Right? Maybe he is. But what I'm trying to say is that some players like Bryce Harper and them, they're agreeing with him. But in a way, that's kind of being greedy because you're making $330 million a season. I don't know. But that's what I got for today's pod. Like I said, the money aspect thing, I just want baseball to be back. I think these players should just maybe kind of get away from the money aspect and start maybe trying to focus on everything else, right? I think these players are a little too caught up in the money. And like I said, it goes back. Like, you can't have super teams anymore because all these players just want the money. You just can't. It's hard enough to have two big pay guys on a super team anymore. It's very hard because all these players are going to want the money. For example, the Yankees, when Gleyber Torres gets to where he wants his contract, when Aaron Judge gets his contract, their cap hit's going to be through the roof. That's why they don't know if they're going to be able to sign all these guys. Gleyber Torres is going to want the money. Aaron Judge is going to want the money. And now you have Garrett Cole, who I like a lot, but now you have Garrett Cole getting $412 million. It's a lot of money. And that's why you can't have all these super teams anymore because of the money aspect. But that's what I got for today. That's what I got for the week. Another week in the books. Month straight doing pods. I know, it's crazy. A month Monday, I think. Monday was it, right? Then when I started my pods. But a month straight, 28 straight days. Or not, it's about a month straight. It's 4 weeks straight, plus the weekend stuff. But 28 straight days of podcasts is amazing. Obviously, not including weekends and everything. But it's good. It's good. So that's what I got for today's pod. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be back here on Monday. Like I take off on the weekends. But yeah, that's what I got for today. Monday we'll come back again, talk more sports. And yeah, like I said, I take off on weekends. So I'll see you back here on Monday. And hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.